Hello beautiful, welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life and day 2 of the 12 days of Christmas. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some 5-star predictions that I have for upcoming books for me to read, as well as the books that I've already given 5 stars this year. If you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Natasha and I do videos on books, bullet journaling, any type of media, beauty if you want it, whatever I feel like doing, that's what I do, but there is a lot of bookish content. And this year we're going to be doing the 12 days of Christmas, which is 12 videos in the month of December, and they will be bookish, there will be art, and there will be movies, lots of Christmas movie reviews and ratings. So anyway, if you like me, if you like this channel, if you want to see more, be sure you are clicked on the subscribe button, and that way you never miss a video. You can click the little bell if you're one of those people who's into the notifications. That's cool. And please like this video. Alright, so without any further ado, I do have a question actually. What is the weather like where you are? It's December 3rd when I'm filming this and it's hot. We got a little cold spell. I live in the southern US, so I live in North Carolina, and we had some cold days, and by cold I mean like in the 40s, and then we've had some warm days, and right now we're in another warm spell. So even what I have on, being a flannel shirt, is maybe a little bit too much for outside right now. But it'll get colder in the evening, but it'll be cold in the morning too. But then it gets warm in the afternoon, like hot. And when I take photos, if you're not following me on Instagram, be sure you're doing that. There is a daily bookish photo along with maybe some fun facts about the author or the book, or just maybe my thoughts or review on the book. And yeah, a lot of the ones that I take during the day that are like in my office, the window's open and you can see outside and it looks like fall because there's just a lot of leaves, if it snows or gets cold, it's probably going to be like January. So we live in one of those areas where you never know what it's going to be. Like it could be cold one day, hot one day, cold one day, hot one day. In fact, I remember when February, it snowed and it was like 3 to 4 feet deep of snow. And then the very next day it was 70 degrees and it all melted. And then the very next day it snowed again and all the snow came back. And it was just so confusing to our bodies, but yeah, it's just that's the weather we live in. And so I'd love to know, does your weather look like a Hallmark movie? Hopefully with the real snow, you know, not the fake snow, the cheap snow. You know, does it look like Christmas? I mean, we have our Christmas lights up and we have our Christmas trees up, and you know, everybody's decorated for Christmas, but it looks like fall outside because our trees are just starting to drop all their leaves and all of that stuff. So I'm just curious, let me know in the comments what's the weather like where you are. Alright, now let's get into the books. The first book that I'm going to predict as a 5-star read for me is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I have never heard anybody speak ill of this book. Everybody has loved this book. This is a 5-star for many people, so I really believe it's going to be a 5-star for me. So I think, again, I haven't read this book, so I don't know the specifics, but I believe we've got a guy whose father works in a library. He goes into a section of the library where there are books that are either discontinued or not in print anymore. He finds a book he really likes, and then he tries to find more books by this author, and then he finds that people are trying to destroy the book, and he wants to know why. And it just sounds really fun. Well, I would say, I think to me it sounds more mysterious kind of a thing, but I think I'm gonna have a good time reading it. So definitely gonna be a soon read for me. The next one, what do I do with these books? The next one I think is going to be a 5-star read for me. It's going to be The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. This is one I've talked about already. Kid gets out of juvie, warden drives him home. When he gets home, 2 of the other inmates are in the trunk, and he has his mind set on one adventure, but they convince him to do another. And I have found that with historical fiction and things like this, and this is set in the 50s, that I really get drawn in and I really enjoy the book. I have been seeing this a lot lately, so I really feel like this is going to be one that draws me in and gives me, you know, that 5-star feel. The next one is going to be Pachinko by Ben Jin Lee. Again, I've heard a lot of things about this. I think it gives you all the feels. And I'm one of those people who not only gives 5 stars if the book is just like amazing, but also for how I enjoy the book, how I enjoy the read, how it affects my emotions and things like that. And I feel like this one's going to hit me hard. This follows, I can't remember, they're Korean. So it's like 3 different family members in a Korean family, like women, and you're kind of following each one's kind of journey. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. The next one that I have is Splendid in the Bile by Erik Larson. I love anything that he does, and this is about the Blitz and Churchill during World War II, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know anything else about it other than I'm really looking forward to seeing Erik Larson's take on this, and it's just history, you know, it's a good time. I've got 2 more books that I think are going to be 5 stars for me. I do not own them, so I'm just going to put them up on the screen. The first one is going to be The Bone Shard Daughter. I really want to read this book for some reason all of a sudden. Like, it never really was like, oh, that looks like a good book, but never really like in my face, like in my heart to read again. But lately I've been hearing everybody talk about it and about the second book and how amazing it is, and now I want to read it. So I think I'm gonna love this one, give it a 5-star. I don't really know much of anything about it other than everyone loves it, and from what I'm hearing of the synopsis, which I can't remember right now, sounds like a good time. And the last one I think I'm going to be giving 5 stars is, what's it called? Between Two Kingdoms by Sulika Hudad, I think. This just sounds so up my alley. This is a nonfiction work. There is a journalist who gets basically her dream job. She's overseas doing investigative journalism and investigative, is that even the right word for that? She's a war correspondent. That's what she is. She's a war correspondent. And she finds she has cancer. And so she has to come home, and she spends a lot of time in the hospital, and I can relate to having your world thwarted by illness. It sucks, but I mean, she had cancer and it was bad, and she spent, I think, almost 3 years in the hospital. So that has never happened to me, thankfully, but it happened to her. And then when she gets well, the cancer is gone, she's in remission, then she kind of has to figure out what to do from there. And then I believe she goes kind of on a journey, and she, you know, meets different people and all of that. Gave me Blue Highway vibes. If you've ever read Blue Highways or heard me talk about that, that is a book where a gentleman in the 70s got in his van and just started driving around the country, and he would stop when he saw something interesting and speak to the people, took pictures of them, and all of that stuff. So the thing that she does when she gets in remission reminds me of that as far as the synopsis goes. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I have no doubt it's going to be a 5-star read. Okay, so those are my predictions. Now let's get into the books that I have given 5 stars so far as of December 3rd. Alright, if you want to see if I give anything in December a 5-star rating, be sure to watch my December wrap-up whenever that comes out. Alright, so the first book that I gave 5 stars this year was To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. A lot of people either loved this book or hated it, or just thought it was too slow. This is one of those books that I just took my time and I enjoyed the read. I have spoken about this before. You know, if I had a few minutes in between, like if I had 10 minutes left of lunch and I was sitting in the parking lot at work, I just read it. If I had a moment, you know, home alone or whatever, waiting for someone, I just read it. Whenever I had free time, I just wanted to sit down, I just wanted to read this book. It's a chunker. It's thin pages, not quite Bible pages, but thin pages, small print. It's a big book, but I just enjoyed it. Not a perfect book, but I enjoyed it so much that, I mean, if I could have given it a 7, I would have done that. We have a main character who lives in a world where we do live in space. Like, humans are on the planet, humans have found other planets to live on, and we've never found any other races, like alien races. We've found remnants of them, and when I say that, I mean they found like some artifacts that they believe were from aliens. Well, she is exploring a planet with a group of people, because they're still trying to find different planets for people to be on, and she discovers another artifact and basically wakes it up, and then the aliens are like, okay, who's messing with our stuff? And craziness ensues. There is a kind of found family vibe in this, and there's just so much to this book, and it's also told like in time, like you're the next day, this day, the next day. The only time you skip time, and I wouldn't even say like you go from one to the other, you kind of see what's going on with her, is when they do like jump drives or something where they know they're going to be in they'll put themselves into stasis, the whole crew of the spaceship, while they travel for months. That's the only time that you skip, but otherwise it's like you're just following her along in the daily life, and then everybody else. It's really good. Just trust me, it's good. If you like sci-fi, I think you'll like that. The next one is Lightfall by The Girl and the Goldurian by Tim Probert. This is the most adorable little graphic novel. So this little girl lives with her grandfather, who's kind of lost it a little bit. He's kind of an apothecary type person, I think, and she's out one day looking for some stuff for him. She finds the Goldurian comes upon her, and he's supposed to be extinct, like they're not supposed to be any more of them. And he's like, I'm looking for your grandfather, and she's like, well, you can come with me, but he's not really like, I don't think he's who you think he is. So when they show up, Grandpa's gone and has left a note, and so she and the Goldurian go on this quest to find Grandpa, and they find out that Grandpa knows more than meets the eye. It's just kind of hidden in there, and oh my word, I can't wait for the next one. Like, every time I go in the store, I go to the kids section to see if the second one's out. I've got to like do something better, like look on Goodreads and see when the next one comes out, because I have just fallen in love with this story. It's so wholesome, it's so cute, and the artwork is just really cute too. You know, just it's really good. The colors, everything, yeah. So if you like graphic novels, it's a middle grade, or if you know a middle grade aged child that's a really cute one. The next one, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I'm not going to say much about this because I have spoken so much about it. I even have a full review here on my channel. Alexandrian Society. Alexandrian Library did not burn down, it was just moved. Every 5 years, 6 people are chosen, and only 5 will make it to be a part of the society. They protect they protect the society, but they also protect the library and all the knowledge in it, but they also have access to all of the knowledge in it, and it's so stinging good. I think the next book is supposed to come out next year. Fingers crossed. Next book, and we're almost done. This is the last this is the last fiction book. This is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. Yeah, I have spoken about this several times already this year. This is I think it takes kind of place in kind of like the Western times, but you've got an isolated group of people. They try to live as independently as possible, but sometimes they do have to go through these dark woods that surround them because they live in a valley, and go to like bigger towns to get more supplies, come back. One of the, right away when we start, we have a group of people that try to go out on a mission to get supplies, and the only thing that came back was a very tow-up horse. And basically they figured out that they had encountered something not so great in the woods, and there are what's the word, legends about things in the woods and all of that. So they've always been a little wary of them, and they have like different bells and different types of things around their valley to kind of ward off things that might be in the woods. Well, now they're thinking that whatever their ancestors said were out there are bad. And there's just so much to this book that I just love, because there's some strange things that start happening within the community themselves. They try to send out another group of people. They all die except for one of them. Yeah, and again, people just start doing really strange things, and it's just so intriguing, and it's a good time. It's atmospheric. And this looks like a nice, lovely spring cover. Do not be fooled. This can be scary. If you're someone who gets scared at things, you might find yourself in a little bit of a chill. But I really enjoyed that book. She's also the one that wrote The House of Salt and Sorrow. So if you like that, you know how atmospheric Aaron A. Craig writes. Where was that book, you felt like you were in cold all the time, freezing and damp. This one, you really feel like you're frolicking in a meadow the whole time, but like a scary meadow. It's a good time. All right, so I have 3 nonfiction books that I want to talk about very briefly. One being The Woman They Could Not Silence by Kate Moore. Again, she's the author of The Radium Girls. I keep saying that because The Radium Girls was so awesome, and I have been like waiting for her to come out with another book. And when I saw this, actually I think we were walking in the bookstore, and Ryan pointed it out. He's like, "Hey, isn't that the girl that wrote?" Yes. I don't care how much it is, get it. And he bought the book, and it's just incredible. So it's following Elizabeth Packard, I believe, yes. So she's a housewife who's been married for 20 years. They have 6 kids, and she just starts speaking about things, her own opinions about things, and he doesn't like it, her husband. So he basically puts her away into an asylum, saying she's insane. And from there, she fights for women's rights, because at this time, starts right before the Civil War, and then we kind of keep going even after the Civil War with this timeline. She figures out that there are people there or women there that should not be there. They're perfectly sane. They've just been put away by their husbands like she was. And also, there are mentally ill people there who are not getting the treatment that they need. And so she not only fights for women at this time. When a married woman got married, her husband owned her, so she was property. So he could do whatever he wanted. She didn't have any rights of her own. And so she fought for us to get our own rights, and also for the plight of mentally ill people who could get the treatment that they needed in a much better environment. So very good book. Will make you angry at times, because at the beginning, Elizabeth was a little too trusting, and you just wanted to throttle her. But when she figured out and became crafty herself, she kicks some booty. Yeah. So I highly recommend that. Then I have 2 quick ones here. Good Morning, Good Life by Amy Schmidauer Landino. I just know her as Amy Landino. She is a YouTuber here on the YouTubes, and she talks about if you set up your morning correctly, the rest of your day will go correctly. But what I like about her is she doesn't tell you need to get up at 6 a.m. You need to do your exercises. She doesn't tell you that. She basically says there are 3 components. If you do these 3 components, whatever you want to do to make these components work, then you're good, I believe it's mindfulness, movement, and mastery. And she gives examples, but she also, if you're not someone who can do the same thing every day, here's a way to make it more fluid. So for your movement, here's a list of things pick one, that's the one you want to do that day. And so I really liked that, because it gave you flexibility. It wasn't like you need to get up at 5 a.m. every day. Now she does, because she owns a company, and she, does whatever she has to do. I work from home. I don't have a commute, so there's no reason for me to get up at 5 a.m. and I'm not gonna get up at 5 a.m. unless I can't sleep. So I like that she basically was like, you have to put it to your life. And she gives other examples, and she has like people like that we might know their names, or you know, or something in there as examples. So that was really good. And the last one was Fervent. This is a reread for me by Priscilla Shriver. A woman's battle plan for serious, specific, and strategic prayer. I love this because she's just an honest person when she speaks, Priscilla Schreier. But she has like a boldness about it that just kind of makes you think. It's almost like sitting down with a therapist, and when you're like, she's got your thoughts before you got them, like before you could formulate them, she's already been like, so how long are you gonna put up with that, like kind of a thing. And I really like that. It's very encouraging, and it gives you motivation and all of that. So those are the however many books. I think it's 6 books that I gave 5 stars so far this year. And then I think that's the 5 books that I am predicting will be 5 stars. If you have read any of these books as well, let me know what you thought. If you didn't give it 5 stars, that's fine. You know, to each his own. But I will see you guys again very soon right here on the 12 Days of Christmas on Nat's Beautiful Life. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, gorgeous.